Okay guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. It's Jay Ayyo. So you already know there is a lot to get in, but we're gonna go bit by bit. For those of you who are new, this is where we turn viral moments into teachable. And there's been a lot that has been happening this week in particular. And so we're gonna start off with the first thing. So the CARICOM heads of government met this past week. So these are all the 14 leaders and associate leaders in the Caribbean. They all converge on a different Caribbean island each year to talk about trade relations, look on things that they could build, and get to meet new people. Because with each new government administration, there might be new people or new leaders, or you have old ones, and so you always may need to reestablish the objectives, the goals, initiatives might have changed. Before the heads of government, there was some split spot going on with the Honorable Mia Motley and the Honorable Kamala Besessa. I hope I'm not butchering her name. That's the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And everyone was a little bit on edge, just to note. But in this what you would say meeting, each head of government gets to speak on issues on national priority and saying what needs to be focused, what we need to do to work together as a team. Media outlets were trying to pit the Honorable Mia Motley and the Honorable Kamala Besessa, and it did really work, because at the end of the day, politicians are going to go behind closed doors, make the agreements that they need to make with, and whatever sells or makes viral moments or clippets or snippets, that's what's going to happen. Now, we're moving on from this topic, and so with the, I would say, big elephant in the room, I think all of us were shocked to, or surprised in what happened on Saturday, this past Saturday, where the Ayatollah was taken out through U.S. strikes. That was kind of interesting. At the end of the day, them taking out the Ayatollah, the U.S. taking out the Ayatollah, that was interesting, because they've tried to get out Maduro. It looks like they're going to try to take out, I'm not saying Cuba, but there seems to be a lot going on the international scene, and there's a lot going on. The Iran was not happy about it. We have Caribbean people who are in Doha, surrounding regions, Israel, just to name a few, and Dubai. So a lot of foreign affairs ministries around the globe who have respective nationals in Doha, Iran, and Qatar were letting their citizens know that they need to register themselves, so that the ministries respectively can look at getting support to them. As it currently stands, the airspace is closed and probably will remain closed. There is still ongoing conversations happening with the United Security Council, where at the UN level, conversations need to have, and whether there is valid agreements or disagreements, it's all about perspective. And as long as communication is happening at the table, that is really important. However, what was of quite significant, the United Kingdom is the president of the Security Council. It rotates each month, so it's UK's term. Now, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the Right Honourable Keir Starmer, said the UK was not involved and they have nothing to do with it, and they didn't sanction any missiles. But the UK is not going to abandon its ally, the United States, because information has come out that the UK is allowing the US to use their bases to support the US to fire missiles. And in addition to that, the United States has taken out majority of the senior command that was supporting the Ayatollah. So generals were taken out, advisors were taken out. They wanted to chop the head off. Now, to give context to this, the issue, or rather concern, was that certain country was always amassing its arsenal and wanting to build its nuclear weapons. Now, the United States has always said, hey, you need to stop doing that. You need to focus on disarming your UN arsenal. But um, that country has never really listened to what the United States had to say. And I think the United States kind of reached a point where it's like, enough is enough. We've told you what you need to do. There were negotiations happening, but the negotiations fell through. And at some point, the United States is going to feel like nothing that we're doing is going to work. So the only action that is going to be left for us to take is force. Now, that is not always the best approach, best angle, best objective, but in reality, sometimes someone has to be the bearer of bad news, and really and truly, conflict is not a good thing, because when it gets to that level, it means that either all options have been exhausted, or one person is speaking but the other person isn't listening. And I think that says a lot in our climate. We know there's spots of issues going on with Ukraine and Russia. That issue hasn't really ended. There's some matters in the in the continent of Africa, and so there's going to be a whole lot of unsettling and uproar with these issues, and migration will come as a result, no doubt, of the loss of home, loss of food, loss of job. There's going to be a lot of issues to resolve at the end of the day, but in particular, the focus is that there are Caribbean people in these countries, and from one person's standpoint, seeing missiles every day and having to shelter in place can be a traumatic experience, and mental health is really important. And I would want to hope that these individuals get some level of mental health, because seeing and worrying about, am I going to get out, how do I get out, everyone fends for themselves when it's a crisis. Now, the teachable lesson in this moment is that where parties can come to a table and speak, we enter into a dialogue to come to a solution. Fighting should be the last option, or no option at all, because when you live with nuclear weapons, lives can get lost, people can get killed, and it outright just isn't a really good thing for Mother Nature. Those are my quick little snippets on it. They do not reflect the views. Well, my views. It's just a take that I'm giving most time. Doesn't really mean it's my viewpoint. But guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the next video.